It's time for AggroChat, the official podcast of the Tales of the Aggronaut blog and stalwart gaming community, where we talk about stuff and things, and the stuff about the things, and sometimes gaming. I'm Belghast, and let's start the show. Hey folks, it's that time again. Time for another episode of AggroChat. This is episode 542. Tonight I'm joined by Ashgar.
It's a mystery.
Kodra.
Hello.
Tam.
Hello.
And Thalen.
Hi there.
So I stumbled upon a thing today that I didn't even know was happening and ended up getting sucked in enough that I stopped playing the game I was playing and full screened the nonsense. So, tell me about the thing that we did.
I mean,
should I do a primer?
Go
Yeah.
for
Like
it.
I know roughly about MIT Mystery Hunt. I just don't know timing versus us actually doing it. Like, because we were not actually doing the running, were we?
No.
So, MIT Mystery Hunt is a long-standing tradition. I think at this point, it might actually, if it's not the longest-running puzzle hunt in the world, it's like top 3, somewhere in there. It's been going for like over 40 years. And like traditionally, it's a event that occurs on campus, and there are a bunch of puzzles at the end of which is a coin of some kind.
It's a penny. It's a huge penny.
Yeah. I've never actually seen the coin.
I have seen it because the year I was there to do it on campus, the devil had the coin. You knew exactly where it was. You just had to figure out how to defeat the devil and get it.
Aha.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
I mean, apparently the coin has been a wooden cube, a snow globe, a CD. So it changes from year to year.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
One
It's
time it was a
gotten-
$1 trillion coin.
Yeah. It's gotten just wildly more elaborate over time.
What? An MIT tradition becoming ever more nonsensical and elaborate? Never.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that like the winner, again, traditionally, the winning team makes the next year's puzzle, or next year's puzzle hunt, rather. And so that's been a continuing thing. I note that CTech Astronomy has continued through 2019 to win. CTech Astronomy wrote the first game that I played, won the first game that I played and ran the second one that I played when I was there. But it's expanded to the point where there's a lot of, originally it was just a thing on campus for students. But then what students would do is they would call up recent alumni, and those alumni would come and stay on campus, or like either bring a sleeping bag or get a hotel room nearby. And that eventually led to longer standing alumni just coming back and helping their teams out. And eventually it's just led to like big sprawling remote teams, sometimes around the world, all solving puzzles. I don't know if it is the hardest puzzle hunt out there, but it's definitely up there. It's a great opportunity to look at something and try to determine if it is even a puzzle.
Or what is the way that
Thankfully-
this is a puzzle?
Thankfully, frequently introductory material contain the text, "This is not a puzzle."
Yes. Yes, they have gotten good about
If
adding.
it does not contain that text, it may be a puzzle.
Yes, this is important.
Yeah, I've definitely in the past looked through old Mystery Hunt puzzles and noodled at them, and man.
They're devious.
Oh, they're super devious. I mean, they're also largely meant to be like,
A giant team of MIT students and
Yeah.
alumni work on these.
Yeah,
Yeah.
solved collaboratively, and yeah.
attracts roughly 120 teams and 3,000 contestants with around 2,000 on campus. To give you an idea of team number to participant ratios, like teams are large. I was never on a winning team, but we were on a team. We came in third-ish at one point, and like I basically worked on one puzzle all weekend.
So I think this is supposed to be a little bit easier than the mystery hunt. This is the
It's a
MIT
lot shorter.
mystery hatch.
They put out this year a pre-hunt last weekend on campus. This was available to students, and this weekend, as of October 11th, they put out the puzzles publicly. It is much shorter than the real mystery hunt.
Yeah, by like an order of magnitude.
Yes.
Yeah, according to the description, it is meant for a team of 4 to 6 to spend about 6 hours on.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we got
about a quarter of the way through.
Yeah,
maybe.
We
made some
got
progress.
about a quarter of the way through. We got the first puzzle pretty well.
Yeah, we've solved 3 puzzles and a couple more puzzles. Like, if we could just figure out that final step, like, how do we turn this into the thing they want to submit?
Yep.
That is an extremely common theme in Mystery Hunt, that the puzzle is at least 2 layers deep.
Yes.
So
yeah, there's puzzles. Puzzles have phases like bosses.
Yeah, so if you think about, like, if you've ever seen the jumble in the newspaper, you know how it's like there's a bunch of scrambled words and you unscramble the words. And then once you've done that, letters are in circles. And then you have to unscramble those to, find the word that finishes the joke. It's basically that, but it's a lot more complicated than unscrambling some circled letters.
But I will say, like, one of the things that is very fun about solving puzzles like these is the collaborative element. Just like having a bunch of people like bouncing ideas and trying to see what happens, and like somebody says something and somebody else gets like an aha moment from it, and it's really fun doing that.
Yeah, because a lot of it is like looking at the puzzle in different ways and figuring out the bits that you do understand, and then having that moment of like, this is how these things connect, or this is the thing I'm supposed to look at, and stuff falls into place.
Well, and it definitely seemed like it was beneficial to have lots of different thought patterns in the mix.
Yes.
Absolutely.
But like, it was also kind of equally fun to debunk a thing as it was to actually come up with a solution.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like, oh, if you can figure out that this is not a path, you can save a bunch of people a bunch of time.
Of the puzzles that we got to, I do think the one we didn't solve this one, but one of my favorites is AsciiOlogy, where you are given a 3x3 grid and 9 courier characters, and they have rows and column clues, and you have to figure out what string of ASCII characters forms the ASCII described.
Yes.
With my favorite being right paren 8-3 being why not Zoidberg.
The little Zoidberg emoji.
It's a little Zoidberg emoji. It's great.
Emoticon, whatever.
But yeah, like I have taken to getting myself involved in more of these puzzle hunts. I've yet to like fully complete a puzzle hunt, but just solving puzzles with friends is very, very fun. And sitting down and like doing it in Discord. And like,
yeah, it's good stuff.
This is why I didn't do this with Blueprints, and I kind of wish I did. But then like Tam and I solved through Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, like with 2 brains, and that was very fun to just like have 2 people beating away at that game together. Collaborative puzzling, it's very cool. So I'm hoping to try and find a bigger team to join so that we can all join the mystery hunt. But I will say I'm proud of us. AggroChat was like definitely in the top half of solving teams that signed up for this thing.
Hey, I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean,
we weren't dead last.
Oh, we were dead. Like
solving any puzzles makes you not dead last.
Yeah,
we are actually basically at the bell curve is more people more people solved less than 3 puzzles than not.
and this is a group made up of people who would sign up for this sort of thing. So I think we did really well.
Yeah, like solving a puzzle is a huge accomplishment. Like completing the puzzle hunt is not. Don't expect that that's gonna be you, because it's probably not. Like again, you're talking about a couple of teams pulling that off, and those teams probably have like 200 people.
It was a lot of fun.
It was definitely very fun.
Like, the hilarious thing, though, is people kept popping in thinking people were playing Guild Wars 2.
Yeah. That's how we got Bell.
Yeah. Well, like, I just got off a phone call with my folks, and I'm like, I'll pop in and hang out. I wasn't going to play some Guild Wars 2, but might as well join in. And like I said, eventually I stopped doing what I was doing and put it up on the main monitor instead of the second monitor. But speaking of Guild Wars 2, it is Halloween time, which means the Mad King has revisited Tyria and is full of devious things.
The second worst showing puzzle in the game, and the Labyrinth.
Yeah. And like we ran around in the Labyrinth on Thursday night, and it was fun, but it was not without friction. Apparently Labyrinth runners take that shit real seriously.
Oh, yeah.
And
I could have warned you about that.
We had a competing tag just because we had more people there than a squad's worth. And we were chewed out and actively cussed out for having a competing tag and potentially ruining their efficiency.
People are not sane about the Labyrinth.
No.
Although apparently they've fixed some of the exploits people used to do. I don't know if you can just be an engineer and tag everything and you can see anymore. But people are not nice about the Labyrinth or sane or any variety of other things. It's not, I don't find it enjoyable.
It's way easier than I remember it being.
Oh, it's very easy.
Never hard.
Yeah.
Well, but like the last time I really had participated was pre-Heart of Thorns.
Oh.
It was kind of mean back then. But now, like, especially now that you can fly in there, it's real easy to to get to things. I've not really participated in much else. I bought the candy cane mining node for my house, and that was what really mattered to me. I also got the cat out of the Labyrinth.
Yes.
Which is super important. Though cats in the homestead are not as easy to find as
they're not.
We're in, like, I always would go to Radasum, and like that was a nice compact home instance.
What is the Labyrinth? I've never done this.
It's just a
Mad
zone.
King's Labyrinth is a big instance zone where you go fight things that drop candy corn.
Plastic spiders and skeletons and a lich and a skeleton with a chainsaw.
Yeah, and every so often there are doors that you can knock on to quote unquote trick or treat, and they will either summon waves of stuff or a legendary boss.
So this is where you go to farm lots of trick or treat bags.
Aha.
A thing you can also just do by playing the game, but you can do it much faster if you do it in here.
Yeah, I think I walked away with 3 cobs worth of trick or treat bags. Or 3 cobs worth of candy corn on Thursday night. So it was pretty fast.
And because
for those playing at home that have not played Guild Wars 2, a candy corn cob is 1,000 candy corn.
Yeah, because it is a thing that people want available for a limited time that is technically worth something because, everything's tradable, it's crafting material, so on and so forth. People get extremely unreasonable about farming in here.
Yep.
Yeah, it is a major gold farm for a period of time.
The other things available in the Halloween event are the Mad King's Tower, which is the second worst showing puzzle in the game. I still maintain that the one in Stupid Volcano is worse because you can't see where you're going.
Yes.
Well, at least with this one, you can also participate in the Stopped Tower.
Yes, you can practice now.
Oh, that's good. That would have been nice.
I know, right? But like the Halloween event is not my favorite. at all. Like, they decorate stuff pretty nice. Like, Lion's Arts looked really cool. But the actual things that occur during the event are just kind of annoying. I don't know. I guess if you really, really want the bat shoulders, then I guess you'll farm it, whatever.
I really kind of want one of the new weapon skins from the event, because the pistol looks really sweet. So I'm going to see if I can farm that up during this. Infinity has had a major faction update?
Yeah. So, so Infinity has a lot of factions. Something that is pretty well supported just from like the core game rules. But even they were like, okay, 40 odd factions is probably too many. So they removed a bunch of redundant ones in the current edition, and players did not like this. They didn't take it well. And like, to be fair, I don't necessarily blame people because it was
They didn't
like,
do it cleanly. And
It
I'm still
wasn't-
mad at Games Workshop for exactly this reason. So
yeah, like it's rough to have your faction removed. And in some cases it was kind of whatever because these were like factions that had been out of print for like 8-9 years. But so people were like barely even playing them. But they came back and they said, you know what? At Gen Con, they were like, you know what? We're going to bring all the faction. We're going to bring back a bunch of factions. We're going to be introducing a new faction. The last week, they brought back most of the old factions that they had removed from the game, including one of the ones that I used to play, and introduced their new one. So there's been a huge shakeup. And it came with what I can only read as a mea culpa, because they could have done the easy thing and just been like, you know what, you want to play those models, go right ahead. They're tenuously supported at best. They're not going to be good, but they'll exist for you if you absolutely must play them. And they did not choose to do that. They could have easily done that, and people would have been like, cool, at least I can play my stuff. I understand. You know, they have a section that's like playable but out of catalog, which is basically your cue for, hey, so this is here, but like don't expect it to be supported, and good luck finding the models. But yeah, they didn't do that. They brought back Neoterra, Svalorheima, Acontecimento, Varuna, so 4 Pano factions.
there's so many of those.
There are so many of those. Caledonia, and what's the other one? One of the mercenary companies. They're good. They like came back and gave them identities, some of which hadn't, like Acontecimento in Pano was a mess. Like their newest one, Kestrel, is very clearly a rewrite of Acon. They were like, we know what we wanted to do with this faction. We didn't really have the design chops at the time to do it. We are revisiting it with this completely blank slate. You know, we want to rid ourselves of the baggage of the design of like the previous one, but we understand what we're trying to do with the design. And like the Kestrel Force is very much what Acon was trying to be. And so, you know, I did not expect a lot out of the resurrection of Acon. It's actually a fully coherent faction with a bunch of neat ideas that work well in the modern game. It's a total revamp of almost every unique unit. They did not have to do this. It's probably the best it's ever been. I used to play Neoterra competitively, and I pulled up the Neoterra list, and like laughed aloud because it's nuts. It's super good. And because one of the big things that they changed in this edition is that the way factions are structured in Infinity is you have this sort of top line faction concepts, which are also playable as what people call vanilla factions. So you'd have Panoceania is a kind of top level faction identity, and then you could play vanilla Panoceania, which is just Pano. But then there's military orders, which is one subset of Pano, Neoterra, which is another, Svalorheimr, which is another, Kestrel, which is another, etc. And mostly those sub factions were like a selection of available units, and vanilla just got everything. Vanilla no longer gets everything in the faction, which is really interesting. And so as a result, a lot of these factions that came back without blowing out the vanilla faction. Like Pano could be busted strong if it just got 4 sub-factions worth of units available to it all of a sudden, but it didn't. It only got a few of those, and it actually works out pretty well. So it's honestly shockingly elegant. They have a few things that they want to recover. The other one, or that they want to tweak, military orders is the classic like knights in power armor kind of faction, and it has struggled with its identity in there for a long time. But they're apparently doing some tuning later this year.
You mean it could be something other than order sergeants?
yeah, that was the huge problem with it. Was like, oh, this is a faction ostensibly about bringing knights in power armor, and you know what you do? Not do that. That's a bad choice. It's better about that now, but it's not quite there. The other one that's back, and I'm just like absolutely transformed, is the Caledonian Highlander army.
You mean William Wallace?
Yes, the William Wallace faction. They're real good now.
Wait, how?
So once upon a time, Caledonia was about flooding your opponent with cheap crap. Just throw nonsense numbers of cheap, individually ineffective units. Nothing with real, not a lot with real punch. And a lot of it was deal with the fact that you're going to bring William Wallace. William Wallace is a particular character that lets you turn a bunch of units that would be irregular into regular, which means you've got better action efficiency. But most of those units were bad. So now they're just good. They have their wolvers, who are their like werewolf, like sort of werewolves, not all the way werewolves.
Not to be confused with the actual werewolves.
Yeah, like they're partly werewolves. They're terrifying. Like they will do horrendous things to people. They have
previously their purpose was to be very cheap.
Yeah, they're not very cheap anymore. But what they are is CC23 with Berserk +3, and Natural Born Warrior and Martial Arts and Climbing Plus.
Oh, hey, they finally gave them martial arts.
Yeah, and shockingly legitimate weapons, and they're good at shooting. Like they just took unit profiles and made them very good. There's one, where was it? They have what they call heavy infantry, which is mostly has just not been that. This can legitimately take 2 wounds now, and they have the Caledonian Mormares, which is it's a bonkers unit. Like it used to be like, oh, you're spending a bunch of points for something that's just going to die to a stiff breeze anyway. This is no longer the case. They have one of the things that they've done in this edition is you can have a special skill that is ballistic skill attack, BS attack, and you can provide. And what that'll do is whenever you perform a ballistic attack, like whenever you shoot somebody, it'll add modifiers based on whatever's in the parenthetical after the BS attack, no matter what weapon you're using. So these ones, just off the top, subtract 2 from the save roll of anybody they hit, and all of their attacks are AP, and they incur a -3 penalty on anybody shooting back at them, just baseline. And that's not like a camouflage effect, so visors don't work on it. It's just a thing they do. And then they're immune to like half of the types of ammo in the game, and they all bring an extra order when you bring them. It's wild. It's wild seeing this faction that I used to think was terrible. Like it is not my aesthetic, but if it were, I would be immediately into it, because they're really good. And like I said, like this was a, hey, sorry we took these factions away. We didn't realize you'd missed them this much, so we brought them back. And boy, did they. it's really cool to see. But then the other thing that they're doing is introducing a brand new faction. It's a sub faction of the Combined Army, who are the aliens, and I finally caught up with the narrative of Infinity, which I think I've been openly down on in the past. I love the like Black Ops between nations spy game kind of thing that it has going on. And to me, I've always been a little frustrated by this overlay of also there's aliens. Also, the aliens are like an existential threat to everybody. And that's sort of overshadowed. Like it feels stupid that these other human factions are all infighting when the aliens who are more powerful than all of humanity combined are at their doorstep. In the recent narrative, it's turned out that humanity has control of this thing that these aliens really, really want and discovered how to destroy it. And so basically basically forced the aliens into a state where they said, look, we will join your UN. We will join your space UN as long as you don't destroy that thing. And so they have, the war is ostensibly over. They're still like sniping behind the scenes, which is exactly what I like in Infinity. But also in the aftermath of that, a bunch of the heroes literally made, because this is a cyberpunk setting, to fight the aliens have nothing to do. I've realized that their handlers have been messing with them, and they've defected to the Combined Army.
Oh my.
Primarily, these are the Greeks. So Achilles, previously I'm a person-sized mech, is like, hey, actually, I'm gonna go join the aliens now. And so the new faction that they're introducing is called Next Wave, and it is humans that are working with the Combined Army. It's like I like it as Mass Effect the faction, but it's a bunch of humans augmented up with alien tech. They look incredibly cool. They just announced their box a couple of days ago. Their box is, they've got this very cool like woven biotechnical armor, but also they have like Horizon Zero Dawn style dinosaur things. Incredibly cool looking faction, and it looks like it's going to be this very characterful, use these big named characters to kind of coalesce groups of these other human units around, which is just a neat structure that only really exists in one other place in the game, and I think it's neat to see. So I'm really excited about them. It's very cool watching them expand the game and kind of move on with it, and frankly, I've always wanted to play my Mass Effect faction, so here we are. Can't be my humans with alien tech. But yeah, years in, Infinity is going real strong, and I'm thrilled to be back into it, especially because now is like a really good time for it. The current edition is really cool. A lot of it's a game that's definitely had a lot of rules bloat and jank, and they've trimmed a lot of that back. There's a lot of different supported play styles, and I've been getting more involved in the local scene, which is neat.
Nice.
We are having this is going to be in March, I think, but there's a satellite tournament, which is basically it's like the equivalent of a nationals tournament elsewhere. A satellite of the Interplanetario, which is the international tournament. So yeah, it's gonna be super fun.
Are you playing? Which faction are you playing?
I've been hopping around. I still have. So once upon a time, I spent some years deciding I was going to win a tournament with every faction in the game. I can no longer claim that I've done that because I have because there's different factions now. But I still had a lot of my old stuff, and I've just been kind of resurrecting it and polishing it up and seeing what new things have been released, and updating my forces here and there to match the modern setups. But I've currently played mostly nomads, The JSA, which used to be the Japanese Sectorial Army and is now the Japanese Secessionist Army. They are their own top-line faction now. And the Invincible Army, which is, did you want to run all heavy infantry? Answer, yes, I do. It's to me, it's really cool that I would be hard-pressed to point at anything and say, that's not a good faction, you shouldn't play it. I have not played O12 because they have a very, like, space cops aesthetic, and it's not really my vibe. But there's a lot of really cool stuff.
That's
and
cool.
There's fewer like they had a whole thing last edition. They've carried it through now, where they don't want uninteractive interactions in the game. Like they don't want they don't want negative play experiences.
So did they fix the whole guided missile launcher stuff?
They've just made it a more interactive thing. Like you can still have a guided missile launcher, but like one of the things that you can do against a guided missile is reset, which breaks the lock, and that's pretty effective. You like actually get to do things against the stuff that's coming at you. Melee is a lot better. It's still a mostly shooting game, but if you want to cut somebody up in melee, it's absolutely doable.
Does that mean Musashi is fieldable?
Musashi seems fieldable. There's a lot of stuff that I would not have previously fielded that is very fieldable. Like Musashi is definitely fieldable. Combat jump troops are not just fieldable but good now, which is very weird to me. Like that was a huge adjustment.
That felt like the weirdest rules thing that I was aware of when I was looking, which was way back in N2, admittedly.
Well, no, drop troops jetpack drop troops used to be really bad, and now they're quite good.
Like you can use this rule, which is bad, and you should feel bad for using it, or we take the downgraded version of the rule and you get the actually good one.
Yeah, no, now they're both good. There's been a lot of editing of Ariadna as a faction. They're the low-tech human, like one of the low-tech human factions, and their whole thing was like, we don't have a lot of high technology. They've got a lot better technology now than they used to, which has meant that they can also say, hey, you know what you don't get to do? Opt out of hacking entirely. Hacking is relevant. Also, everybody has tools to deal with it, which I think is great. You can't just like no-sell a faction's entire function by being like, nah. They did blow up one faction, which they are saying that they're basically redesigning.
I was going to say Toha remained kind of gone, right?
Playable, but out of catalog. The Toha,
basically gone.
Yeah, the Toha, the one sectorial that Toha got, Spiral, is completely removed. Like both in game, like mechanically in game, and also in the lore, they were disbanded completely by force.
So was that just because Toha was able to opt out and it just became a problem?
It's because what Toha were originally doing was they created this sort of like pseudo heavy infantry at a really cheap cost.
Yeah.
And as the game evolved, they just started reducing the costs on the formula costs for heavy infantry. Because they didn't need to be as expensive as they were. And in fact, it was causing people to just not take them because they were too expensive. But that meant that Toha were sitting in this weird place where they couldn't actually drop the prices anymore. Like, it's not okay to have a 2-wound model for like 14 points for the most part. But that was what they would have been looking. That's sort of like what they were going to be looking at as far as how that all comes together. And so there's a bunch of like, okay, well, how do we rationalize this?
Mm-hmm.
How do we make them actually participate in hacking and other parts of the game? And so they're basically mid redesign. The other thing was that they changed the way links work in a pretty huge way, and that it means that like the thing that Toha used to be good at, like the other thing that Toha used to be good at was bringing multiple fire teams as opposed to just one, but now everybody can do that. And so that thing that made them special is just sort of like broadly available. It seems like they were they wound up being a kind of test bed for things that now are applicable across every faction, which I think is cool, but also means that Toha themselves are in a
this doesn't really make sense.
yeah, we don't really make sense anymore. We walked so that everybody else can run. But yeah, it's been really interesting to follow.
That's good.
They're doing cool things. The game's in a really healthy state. This edition is probably finally going to break me of my old list building habits. Once upon a time, it was all about make one big link and go, and like mostly you don't want to do that anymore. And I think that additional flexibility is great. I'd also years of playing Warhammer over like the past few years of playing Warhammer have caused me to forget what it's like to play a skirmish game, and I had forgotten that the buy-in is like fifth of a 40k army.
You only actually need 10 or 12 dudes.
Yeah, like you can. They've updated their starter boxes to be 10 models.
So is Combat Patrol not really popular there?
Oh, 40k Combat Patrol?
Yeah.
That's
what gets played a lot here.
Wow.
Which is
I have never seen a person play Combat Patrol here.
10, 15 models, something like that.
Why?
Most.
Huh. No, nobody plays Combat Patrol here.
Mostly, I think it's just because the buy-in is so significantly less.
It's true. Like, you don't need to buy in.
But also, like, Mordheim and Necromunda were really popular here, too. And so I think the skirmish size was popular.
Skirmish is a lot of fun, like, partly because you don't need a lot of models.
So this past Tuesday, Legion Remix started over in World of Warcraft, and I've been poking around at that a little bit. This is the second time they're trying to run the Remix event, and like, if you are unfamiliar with what Panda Remix was, basically it's taking World of Warcraft and turning it into more of an action role-playing game.
I can't help but notice they skipped an expansion.
Yeah.
Curious that.
Like, this was probably a good call because people remember Panda fondly. People remember Legion fondly. So, they were also very quest heavy and like world event heavy. And I think that translates really well to this style of game where, so basically like nothing drops real loot. Everything drops loot boxes. Loot boxes pop open with random rarities of gear until you get fully geared out. They totally changed the artifact weapons to more of a talent tree kind of thing that gives you various bonuses. Everything's been sped up significantly. Like, you get your class order hall and the bronze flight skips you ahead to having like a fully built out class order hall. The thing that's been interesting, there's things I like and things I dislike about it. Like, it feels like they meddled with the formula from last time and slowed things down significantly. So I don't love that. Cause like I'm only level 40 at this point and I've played quite a bit of it. And by this time during Panda, I think I was right around the level cap. Because like a lot of the game is doing like raids over and over and over and doing like the harder content over and over and over to farm bronze so that you can buy, every cosmetic armor set and every mount and everything from that expansion, and also a whole bunch of new ones that they put in just for these events. So it is a farm all the things, get a bunch of permanent items going forward, and also these characters like transfer to standard, quote unquote, when the event is over. So you can level a brand new character for, the upcoming expansion. And I didn't make it through War Within, but I was absolutely playing the Dark Iron Dwarf character that I leveled during Panda Remix. One of the things that's been interesting is, so it was during Dragonflight that they copied Guild Wars Homework on mounts. And so they don't really have a Sky Scale and they don't really have a Griffin. They have a combination of both of them. and it's fine. Like their dynamic flight system, I would probably think as revolutionary if I hadn't ever played Guild Wars 2. Like it's fun. It's fun enough, but like it feels like kind of a Designer Imposters version of the mounts from Guild Wars 2. But they've added a bunch of stuff in the air to Legion so that like you can do things while you're flying around on your mounts and like, you know, knocking demons out or harvesting resources from the sky. And so like that's kind of cool that there's a whole vertical level to the game that wasn't necessarily there when we last played Legion.
That's kind of neat.
So like they've done a bit of remixing as per the name, and it's kind of cool. Like, I mean, I don't know how much of this I'm really gonna play, because I like it hasn't clicked with me the way that it did last time, and I think mostly just because it was very fresh and it was this cool. Honestly, I think they intended it just to be filler content, like an experiment, and it just became wildly successful. But it only lasts 3 months, so you know, one way or the other, it's over pretty quickly. But it's still fun enough for me to keep poking at it.
I'm glad it's got the vibe.
Like, the thing is it turns World of Warcraft into a much more Guild Warsian feeling experience, because all of the world content is wildly populated by people who are farming it over and over and over and over during the day. So like it makes the world feel way more alive than a normal World of Warcraft expansion. It often like it's made me wonder what Warcraft would feel like if they made it a horizontal progression game to where like all this massive amount of content that they have is just relevant all the time. Because your gearing is essentially kind of like, I don't know, Destiny, essentially, where like gear level just keeps going up as you equip more stuff.
Yeah.
So Hades 2?
So I've been playing a lot of Hades 2, and it's an interesting game because there's a lot of like you're like the whole point is it's a game that you're expected to fail a whole bunch at.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very awkward in the amount of time a run takes. Like the one good thing is like if you only have a half hour, you can get a run of Hades 2 in. The bad thing is you can only really play Hades 2 in chunks of about half hour. And so like sometimes it's a lot to like get back into a run, and especially it's easy to be demoralized in this game. Like you will backslide a lot. You will get close, you will fail, then you'll backslide, and like because you're trying something different.
Mm-hmm.
Like the game very much encourages you to use all of the different weapons and to try all of the different things out. And like I just had a run where I'm sure some people love this, but like the thing that turns your axe into only the last swing of the combo, that's too slow.
Oh, it's so strong.
It could be
It's
fantastic,
so good.
but it is slow.
It's
true.
It is slow.
And if you don't have if you have the slow axe and the slow attack, like you can't actually even, because one of the things that happens in this game is there are enemies that like have armor and so they can tough out your attacks, but like once you get to their health, like you can kind of stun lock enemies, but you can't really stun lock enemies with this attack because there's so much, like it is literally like 2 seconds between attacks.
That's why
It's
you just gotta
insane.
kill him on the first attack.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I get it.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of I personally love this build. That the I have gone all in on axe, and the only thing I have is the last attack in the chain is actually the build that I've gotten. I successfully ran with no Death Defiance. Because I sure didn't get any Death Defiance, because I ran a Judgment run. Judgment is one of the cards that you can get that is only active if you have 3 cards.
Yep.
Mhm.
And it turns on other cards, and I just didn't get the Death Defiance card when I was running it. But yes, you do need to go all the way in on... basically, you need to glue yourself to Aphrodite and Apollo.
Yeah, and like but I guess my point is there's a lot of ways to feel demoralized in this game. And the writing in this game does a very good job at doing everything it can to get you to keep playing this game. Like, all of the people are always very supportive whenever you have a terrible run.
Except for Eris.
Well, I've never had Eris after a terrible run, but Eris shouldn't be in that camp.
Oh,
She's
man.
not here to support you.
Oh, man. I love it. Eris is hilarious.
She absolutely is.
But I will also say the other thing they do that's interesting is after you do defeat like Kronos for your first time, like it also makes sure that it celebrates your victories, but it also lets you know that you need to keep playing because it wants you to keep playing. And they do a very good job at like in between trying to make sure you aren't about to give up on the game, which is good because there's a lot of moments where it's like, I think I need to give up on this game. But it's like I'm still gaining power. The problem I'm running into is I'm starting to lose. I'm not losing a ton of power yet, but I'm starting to make runs harder for myself because there's still more rewards. Like I feel like Skelly tells the right answer of what should I do on any given night when he's asked whether you should go up or down, and the answer is whatever gives you what you need right now.
Like, where do you need stuff from?
Where do you need loot from? Go there.
Yep.
What weapon should you use? Use the weapon that speaks to you, or just the one that gives you more bones.
Give more bones.
Bones are good.
Yeah, I definitely feel like there's an order of things you should unlock and like focus on unlocking, and it is the order in which the game introduces you to them, and I think it's pretty elegant. But yeah, unlock and upgrade those cards. So good. Like starting with additional health and mana, 3 Death Defiance, regenerating MP.
Mm-hmm.
There's a few others that are just like, okay, now that I have these, like your channels are faster, helps.
Things slow down when you're channeling.
But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff where it's like, once I feel like I have that backbone under me, then I'm like, okay, I can be pretty successful no matter what I'm doing. And then it's like, once I get whichever weapon variant is the one that feels good to me for any given weapon, then it's like, okay, I can go in here. I've got my backbone. I've got, no matter what weapon is the one that it wants me to use, I'm in a good place. And then I feel like I really started jamming. That game really, it really hits me as I've gotten deeper and deeper into it. Like there were bosses that I played and I was like, I can't believe I beat that boss. Or like, I don't even understand how you beat this boss. This felt impossible. And then like, I've reached the point where I just crush through it with contemptuous ease.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like I got absolutely wrecked by I got absolutely wrecked by Kronos the first time. But I think every boss that I fought has just done a number on me at first. And then I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, here's what I do about this. And I've been working my way through the rivals versions of each boss, and they don't mess around. Well, mostly they don't mess around. A couple of them I actually think are easier in rivals mode than normally. Sorry, Eris.
There's also a thing in Hades 2. I mean, in Hades 1, speedrunners take, like, even speedrunners who aren't trying to, like, play the game on a certain level of heat take extreme measures too, because that version of the Hydra is just easier.
Yeah, I think Eris is easier. Do I think anybody else is easier? No. Prometheus is awful. guess I don't think Scylla is that much harder. It's funny, but not that much harder. Like Scylla's already a fight that's demanding that you pay attention to a bunch of things at once.
Mm-hmm.
The Rivals version is just making you pay slightly more attention to more things at once, and it's sort of whatever. I did just unlock Rivals for the final bosses of each wing, and I don't know how much I'm looking forward to that one. I was actually just thinking I might need to try to do a run where I grab the axe, go hard into Aphrodite, and see if that'll get me through a Rivals version of either of those bosses. They're definitely much like Hades 1. There's definitely a I can bite off more than I can chew phase of the game where it's like you don't quite have all of the power unlocked, but you also have access to push all the buttons.
Yeah, when they first give you the Oath of the Unseen, maybe don't do a whole lot with the Oath of the Unseen.
No, those things are awful.
Do the time limit. You could do the time limit.
The time limit's whatever. The time limit is the time limit. I think Ash was talking about this last week. Like the time limit was not that hard in 1 and is not that hard here either.
I mean, basically, if you're doing well enough at the game that you have a reasonable chance at the final boss, then the time limit is no problem.
I mean, the time limit stage 1 was no problem last time.
Exactly.
You could turn it up 2 more times, and that became a problem.
Oh yeah, same here. No, I haven't gone beyond the first stage.
I did the first stage, and I finished it with enough spare time that if I had been on the second stage, I would have been fine.
Yes.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
And I don't actually know what the third stage is. I haven't looked.
I think it's 5 minutes per, so 20 minutes total.
I've been bumping health up by 10%, and that's mostly not been very noticeable.
Oh God, no. Okay, I understand why you don't like the axe. No, I wouldn't. No, I keep that health all the way down.
Fair enough.
I want things to just die when I touch them.
I mean, honestly, my suggestion is use the Oath of the Unseen enough to get enough of the stuff from it to, upgrade a couple of weapons, whatever.
Yeah.
That's mostly what I'm doing.
Do the Chaos Trials
Those
so
are
that
awesome.
you can make your familiars better.
I was about to say, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You will.
I'm sure I will.
All of the adorable animals are your friends. The cat is your best friend.
Is the cat my best friend? The cat is so finicky. I stopped using the cat because it was too finicky.
I use the bird mostly.
The bird is good. The bird is probably my second my set number 2.
I'm enjoying Freenose. Freenose gives me a little more health.
That's fair. I ran with Freenose a really long time.
The cat gives you an extra death defiance.
Yeah, for 20 health.
That you could upgrade that.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I do love the Chaos Trials. I forget how you unlock them, but they're super fun. Like just to take on running like the sections of the game that it feels so natural that I thought that they were in the original, but I guess they weren't.
Oh, the familiars?
No, Chaos Trials are.
Oh no, Chaos Trials I think are new.
I think they're new, but it's just like we're gonna give you.
But they're similar to something that was in Transistor.
Yes, they're similar to a thing that was in Transistor. True, yeah. But like in this one, it's we're gonna give you a build. Here's your weapon, weapon and arcana, and like basically here's everything you get. We are going to put huge constraints on the things that can spawn, and you need to complete this section under these circumstances.
Yep. Finish this one region.
And mostly what it's there to do is introduce you to some wild builds. And I love them. But also you get useful resources from them. Some of them are real hard, though.
Yeah, definitely look at the number of eyeballs associated with the trial. Start at 1.
Yeah, I jumped into a 4 and was like, oh no. Oh, I'm dead. Cool. Oh yeah, my Oath of the Unseen. If I'm going to the underworld, I will crank up the enemies from a later zone. Whatever, I don't care. If I'm going up, no.
Ugh.
Absolutely do not give me that stuff early. Those are awful. The game currently wants me to do... It's like go up for 28 and down for 36 or something. I'm like, ugh, I don't want to do that.
How lengthy is the when there are too many games topic?
It might be like the.
Yeah,
It seems like the kind of thing that would be a rabbit hole.
yeah, exactly.
That's true.
I mean, like, I have a tiny topic to drop real quick. Blue Protocol is officially out, and I have played
Any
a
good?
little bit of it. I don't really know yet. I kind of expected it to be an aggressively Japanese Genshin Impact. It is not really. I like it's charming world. I really don't know where they're gonna make the money because like everything is cosmetics, but like there doesn't appear to be any pulling for characters. You play a character with a class more like a traditional MMO. Combat feels a little bit like God, I'm trying to think of the name of the game that where you were like resurrected, you know, and going on this planet, and it was almost like a deities type theme.
Wilson?
No, Skyforge, something like that.
Yeah, Skyforge probably.
Skyforge, yeah.
Although
Combat
that
feels
game gives you multiple classes as unlockable things.
right, and you basically pick a class when you start, and that seems to be what you're stuck in. I picked a paladin type class. There's mostly somewhat vaguely unique spins on classes. You like the traditional two-handed tank has like this giant carving blade kind of thing. I went sword and board. The thing that would be your traditional like DPS warrior type thing has a giant scythe. I don't know, like I mean it looks interesting, but it also didn't immediately grab me. I think I've only played like maybe hour and a half, 2 hours. So I'm gonna poke my head back in a little bit more. But yeah, it's out, it's free. Might be worth giving it a spin if you're looking for something to play. And also I've been gone so long from Genshin that it would just be pure madness to try and ease back into something like that. Anybody else have any short topics?
I'm increasingly anticipating and nervous about Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
When is it officially out?
Like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
Okay. And then Guild Wars 2 expansion on the 28th, I think. So we're heading towards that.
I think Pokemon's next week.
I believe it is, yeah.
Wow, I'm way out of the loop. I didn't even realize Pokemon was...
Gotta finish Digimon first.
Path of Exile expansion on the 31st. There's a lot of stuff hitting all at once. Like,
It's too many games.
Yep. Maybe next week we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
yep.
I don't know if anybody else has been watching this game, but the game Dispatch is coming out in a week and a half and looks amazing. It has definite Telltale vibes. It's from the writers and direct. It's from the folks that made Wolf Among Us. But you are a former superhero who has taken a job at a dispatch center
Oh, right.
for
That's,
superheroes.
yeah, that's the one connected to the Invincible universe, right?
I don't think it's.
I thought it
don't
was.
think it is.
Maybe
Like the
I'm
art-
thinking about something else.
Like the art style definitely has similar vibes, but none of these are like pre-existing characters that I'm
Okay.
aware of.
For some
But
reason, I was thinking it was connected to the Invincible universe, but maybe not.
But I played the demo, and the demo was great, and I love these characters. So I fully expect to have things to say about this game in a few weeks.
Wow, this looks great.
Yes, it does.
I don't remember which of the trailer shows it was on, but I thought it looked amazing. That is probably a show. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we will see you again next week. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
See you.